Score to ask Commissioner Watts to give us the invocation.
Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we just thank you for the many blessings that you give us each and every day, Father. We ask that your hand be with us this morning as we come together to make decisions for this county. Father, guide and direct us, we pray. Father, we ask that you keep our military safe overseas as they fight to protect us and let us live in the land of the free. Father, be with our county family as they are also in harm's way daily. Father, guide and direct us. Forgive us of our sins and where we fall short. These things we ask in Jesus' precious name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. God, join me in pledge of allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now the Texas flag.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you. Take your seats, please. I'm going to jump down to the end of the agenda and ask Ms. Glenda Ramsey, President of Harper Ferguson Associates, to give us, we did receive the proposals for the construction manager at Risk last week, and she's just going to give us tell you the procedure of where we're following from here. You all were allowed to review those proposals all over the weekend without any scoring data. It was simply to make you familiar with them. And
Where are we jumping down to, boss?
the very end staff reports.
Oh, in staff reports.
Under staff reports. All I wanted her was to go over this and let you all know
what we're doing.
Do I need to do this?
Yes.
Is that okay?
Thank you.
Basically, it's just a small summary report type of a thing to say that, yes, we did receive 3 proposals on the CMAR, and the 3 that we got are all quality. One of the things that we required is that they all have jail experience. We had quite a few contact the office, but we probably had in excess of 10 companies contact our office and receive the proposal, the RFP. But once they saw the criteria, they decided to opt out. There were 2 that were still supposed to submit, and the day before the submittals came in, one of them, Sdelco, had received a job at another location over the weekend, I guess, and so they opted out because they did not have enough people to man it. And then White, another company, similar circumstances, that they did not have enough people to man it. And so rather than turn in and then have to be able to not do a good job on it, they would rather not turn in for it. So there were actually 5 that were strongly considering it, but the 2 additional ones pulled because of their schedules. So the schedule as it stands right now is that the committee will have 2 different subcommittees that they will come together, and they've divided the committee itself. The big committee is divided up into small committees. They will come together during this next week to rank, to score the proposals. They will rank them, and then on the 10th we'll come back together as a committee again to make a common recommendation then for who are do the final scoring and decide who they're going to want to interview, whether they're going to interview 1, 2, or all 3. You can interview any subset or all 3 of the proposed companies, and then it will be brought back to commissioners, and then the interviews will happen then during that next week, and then they'll be brought back to the commissioners on the 28th for y'all to decide which way you want to go and whether you want to approve the committee's suggestion at that time. So that's sort of the drawn out schedule of the committee as a whole. That basically puts the CMAR on, hopefully then after y'all approve one to negotiate with, we can get the negotiations done, and that'll put them online right at September 1st is when we want them online, so that they can start working with us and the architects, both HPA and HOK. As far as the process of the the LEC goes, we are in schematic design right now. We're a little bit more than 50% through with schematic design. We intend to bring that to y'all just to go over the schematic design on the week of the 14th. We'll bring it here and show y'all where we're at and show you, just give you a feel for, it's not a decision-making point at that point, it's just a report more or less. And then we'll finish up the schematic design by the end of August. So we hope to start into design development, which is a much more in-depth, in coordination with the CMAR, then 1st of September.
Okay.
Linda, is that schematic, is that kind of a general footprint? Is that?
Yes, that's the footprint, the overall spaces, you know, this room is, or not room, but mainly big blobs.
Right.
Is gonna take up this much square footage, and we want this connected to this so
Okay.
that the flow goes better. And so we're doing both all of the sheriff's office areas, all of the many components of the sheriff's office, and the jail, and then we're making all of that fit together as well. So it's not down to the nth of where this door is gonna go. It's more, this big area is here, this big area is here. They want, you know, in the jail portion of it, they'll say, you know, we want the minimums with the here and the mediums here and the maxes here and that sort of stuff, and scheduling what kind and what size of cell areas that will be the pods there.
Will the exterior schematic be done also?
Yes, we are starting to talk about that. We've brought some last week to the committee as a whole, and we're starting to talk about what the exterior, the roof, all of the exterior components are gonna look like, and we've worked the site over quite a bit as well, so there's all of those components are coming up together at the same time.
Can you match this mobile home siding we've got on the door?
You know, that's a good look, but,
Good.
Are we willing to relocate the pigeon nesting area?
Yes, we'll get on that.
we've talked about, you know, wine rack look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. But not long, I hope.
It's not long.
Not long.
It
Okay.
was
All
a
right.
short discussion.
If we're trying to qualify as a bird sanctuary, we can
That's right.
double dip.
That's right.
No, but.
The exterior stuff, the reason I ask is because the city of Wichita Falls has kind of agreed to let us turn in like a schematic to see how the gun range parking / area would overlap with.
I'm actually meeting with them at 11 o'clock. That's why I
Okay.
was so graciously bumped to the start of the meeting rather than later.
Good.
Because I'm meeting with the city at 11 o'clock to go over the site plan and what does overlap between the firing range parking lot and what we're proposing for this. And so I've got drawings in my car, and I'm gonna go straight from here to there.
Okay, thank you.
You know, if there's a possibility, and I don't know how this will play out, probably depends on how it comes together, it'd really be neat to kind of bring the outside of that classroom up to kind of match what we're doing on site. We kind of had that in the back of our mind. I don't even know if that's possible or something, but as we go along, we might think about that.
It is possible, and it's one of those things we'll need to look at and see the overall cost of what that
Yeah.
would be, and the cost of that building, and, you know, weigh it
Sure.
against each other. Is it worth?
Is it a
putting-
worthwhile deal? Yeah.
Is the cost
Yeah.
worth, you know, because at the point, if you completely, just for instance, if you say masonry the entire outside of the building, you made it look nice from the outside and did it real, but the inside is still a portable building.
Right.
And so. you've
She
got
just
to
said,
weigh-
do you want to put lipstick on a pig? That's
That
what
was
she
the
said.
exact
I've
words
done it.
that I didn't want to be quoted as saying that.
I've done that.
Did you kiss the pig after that, or?
That's a long story. Jeff Watts knows the story. Yes, I have. But anyway, let's move on.
Any other questions before I skid out?
One other thing, just looking at the two dates you've thrown out there, do we have any conflict with those dates? 28th, I know the commissioners, three y'all had some travel during August.
I think I'm gone the 28th to a meeting.
Oh, okay.
28th,
I
that's
knew
the
that
last
the week
isn't it?
before that
Yeah.
21st week, there was.
I'd have to look
gonna
at
be
my schedule, but
a lot
I,
of
We're,
going on.
we're going to commissioners conference all last.
The third week.
I thought that was the 21st week. Yeah,
Yes.
that's why I
28th
bumped
is-
it off of that week.
Yeah,
We get back the day before the Hotter than Hell, right?
yes. Now, Commissioner Beecham, I think you weren't going because you've got hotter than hell stuff.
That's
you said
correct.
That week. So,
If we need to move that date, we can certainly move that date to accommodate y'all.
well, we just need to
It's just
identify these earlier than all of a sudden going, oops, that day, we don't have anybody here.
Right.
So, is the 28th going to work for y'all or not?
Yeah,
It
I
does
am.
for me.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be here the 28th. I've got a meeting to.
The 28th is a Monday.
Yes.
Right.
I'll be here.
Mark will be just about dead after hotter than hell.
Yeah.
Which that won't be a problem, Judge. I'll be well briefed on it
Okay.
before that happens. That's not a problem at all.
All right.
We're gonna
It's not
spend
an
some
action
time.
item.
Yeah, we're
It will
gonna-
just be an informative item.
Well, on the 28th, the court needs to approve the contract.
Do they,
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I was thinking of the SVs.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
that's okay. No,
But I mean, if we
I
need
had
to do
the
it,
two
then we can
different-
do it. I don't have, as long as you got the rest of the court here, because I'll be well briefed on it and prepared ahead of time, so.
okay.
Is that still okay?
So
now?
we're still good then. That'll work out well,
Okay.
because we need to get them on
Yeah,
board.
I'm
Need to
sorry.
get 'em rolling.
My brain had switched over to the schematic design and I was not thinking the CMARs.
Okay.
Apologize.
That's all right, not a problem. Okay, so everything else looks good. We'll move forward from there and,
Hey,
okay. Let's do we'll skip down to the maintenance report on the jail, and then did you want to meet now with Chief Metter and Andrew and the captain, or do you want
This
to?
afternoon would be better, so
Okay.
that I can get on over to the city.
Okay.
I'll come back and meet with them on
Yeah,
those.
okay. And maybe Commissioner Watts or I could join you. Will the sheriff be here? Chief, will the sheriff be here this afternoon?
No, he's at the conference.
That's right, okay. We can get back with him separate, but she'll go with you, just schedule the scoring sheets, see if y'all have any questions on them. And commissioners, y'all did bring yours back to, okay, all right, good deal. Thank you, Glenda.
Thank you, Glenda.
Thank you.
Okay, I would ask the court to take action on the consent agenda. I want to advise you, we're going to move number 5 to general business, and I want to remove number 8.
Noting those changes, Judge, I'd make a motion that we accept the consent agenda with moving number 5 and removing number 8.
Okay.
I'll second that motion, Judge, and I had some questions.
Yes, sir.
8 was one of them. Did we clarify the horticulture bill about the dead trees?
Yeah,
Cleared
we've
up?
got some stuff that, I walked that thing last week and looked at it. We've got a couple that are kind of suffering, but they still got green leaves on them, so they don't fall under the guidelines of the deal.
Okay.
And,
You didn't pull the leaves off.
no, I didn't. I'm trying to save them, Judge.
But he's aware of that?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
And then on item 6, are we ready to move forward with those then? Can we?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And I'll get with the sheriff and make sure we're set up for,
The sheriff's sale on those.
yes, sir.
Chief, who handles that in your all's office, the property sales?
They go through the civil division, Garland.
Okay.
How do we advertise those? Is there some way to,
There's got to be a way to.
there's gotta be a
list it.
way, because that's gonna mean
Well, that-
all the difference, I think. You need, if you could notify the surrounding,
Well, you just have to do the
Wonder if
research
the
with that.
realtor group or something.
yeah.
Well,
They do a mass email.
but I mean, you
Word out,
could,
we're gonna have it.
you could pull up the adjacent properties and
Yeah,
Yeah,
send.
let each one of
Yeah.
them know.
that's gonna be your best bet.
Okay, I'll get on that.
Okay, so that's your project.
Yes, sir.
and if you get some contacts, we can help you with it, but whatever we need to do.
Off the wall, thought, speaking of contacts, just remember there was 2 different people we're gonna try to get a hold of on that septic tank grant.
Yes, sir. And
Yes.
I talked to mine, and she had already resolved her issue.
Okay.
I spoke to another one yesterday at church, and they didn't feel they had issues. They certainly qualify, but they
Okay.
don't have a new one, but they don't have issues, so they weren't interested.
I passed it along to a couple of contractors that
Okay.
will be looking out at it.
Now, the second fella yesterday, I mentioned at church, he said that their neighbor is constantly having the septic guy pump the tank, and there may be issues. He was going to try to visit with him and see if there was something that,
Okay. All right. Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Muller, second by Commissioner Watts to approve consent agenda with moving of item 5 down to general business and to remove item 8. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Okay, item number 5, we will take and discuss right now. Motion to file McCluskey Construction invoice of July 20th, 2017 in the amount of $4,900 for removal and replacement of doors at the north and east entrances of the Sheriff's Training Center at the shooting range with payment from Fund 404 Limited Tax Note to the budget line as assigned by the county auditor. Invoice price includes an additional price of $200 to the first quote for repair of door framing at each entrance. Commissioner Harvey needs to just make an announcement as he did before on this.
Yeah, we've already actually voted on this. The reason it's back on here is because of the $200 line item. I recused myself for the first time because I own this company. So just put it back on there just so that you guys could vote for the $200 floor repair.
Well, Judge, after looking at the repairs, it absolutely needed to be
Yeah,
done,
it-
and we needed to move forward expeditiously to get the rest of it done. I'd make a motion, we approve it.
Okay.
second.
Just getting it done in that amount of time is worth a lot, just because we
Okay.
needed to move on to the rest of the project.
All right. Any other comments or questions on this item? Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Muller, second by Commissioner Watts, and Commissioner Harvey is refraining from voting due to his business interest in the company. Any other comments or questions? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, 4-0-1. Okay, we're down to item number 1 on general business, review and approve the emergency and regular bills for payment. We pulled one bill out, and you all seen an email from Mr. Smythe explaining how that we had that person be paid local mileage because they came to work first at Wichita and then were sent to Electra to fill in due to the person working up there had a death in the family and couldn't be there. So,
We also pulled the AT&T telephone bill. Jeff was gonna get Ashley to check about it.
Yeah, and the auditor's office has that right now. They're trying to finish that up with the long distance. Both of those are with the auditor.
that was from a week ago.
Well,
Yeah.
the AT&T bill came back on the list, but we
Oh,
pulled it
okay.
out, and that's why
Ah,
Ashley came down
okay.
here last
Okay.
week, because it should already be stopped. It's a 5,000 or plus bill that we shouldn't be paying for.
Right. Okay, we've had enough of that fund before. Okay, is there a motion on the bills?
So moved.
Second. Motion by Commissioner Harvey, second by Commissioner Beecham to pay the bills as presented with, we returned to one and we still have one AT&T bill out. Okay. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried 5-0.
Are we to pay the touchstone bills?
I believe Bob, I think the auditor still has that waiting on IT to finalize what requests they had about those bills, so they're still on hold right now. I have not been told any different.
Nor have I.
I've talked to Deb about that, so she's checking with Ashley on both of those. Webfire is supposed to pay the Touchtone, to my understanding, and the AT&T was supposed to finish off in June, and they're building this now for July, so Judy's looking into that one.
All right, let's move down to item number 2, is discuss and review jail maintenance work orders. You received those in an email on Friday from Lieutenant Spiegel. Sorry.
Yes, the only change to that report is that actually on Friday, those two things were completed. So the current report is we have 0 open work orders instead of those 2. So. Any questions, comments, or concerns?
Where are we at on the convection ovens for the jail?
That I'm not positive. That's not really the maintenance department. I mean, I have to talk to Rick and find out if he's getting some.
They were going to come back with a contract extension unless you all have any objections to doing that. That's why they would do that purchase on the convection ovens and on the, what's the grill?
The skillet.
Tilt skillet.
Tilt skillet.
skillet.
But can't we get an agreement stretched out into the new facility and maybe with the same considerations?
Yeah, I have had people from other counties suggest that we consider going out for RFPs very soon and have the equipping of the entire kitchen part of the RFP. It will make it, we'll recognize that in the contract, and then if you, for some reason, have to move to another vendor, the next RFP, they have to purchase anything that's left over from the other.
Are there other good ones that other people are using that they're bragging on?
I don't hear a lot of bragging on any food service companies for jails, but there are some other companies that provide that same service, and that was from non-food companies that I heard that those recommendations. I also included that for medical.
Who does All Red? Is that an in-house deal?
I think they're all in-house.
I think they have their own garden.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, all I know is they think their food's better than ours. During that 2008 flood, when we brought them food from jail, they said, no thanks.
Yeah, it probably is.
Yeah. Okay. If we're going to do that, then we need to move on that because we're getting ready to hit the design of that kitchen. I think the space is configured, but so we decide what goes in it and where, but that can't linger.
Right.
Okay. All right. That's a great maintenance report.
Yeah, I guess in this case, no news is good news.
How'd you hold that table together with a piece of foil? I'd like to learn that. I'd like to learn that trick.
Inmate ingenuity.
Okay.
I'm positive that's what it was.
Yeah.
They just needed it to work for a while.
Cannot
Good.
do it either.
Well, airplane wings are made out of foil.
They are. I just want to learn how to do that.
Yeah.
Sometimes they work better than others.
All right. Item 3, discuss take action on remaining outstanding construction issues with firing range. Commissioner Hardy.
We're gonna let Glenda go do her magic, then we'll find out what's gonna overlap. And we know the sidewalks, we can do those, but the rest of it, we'll just wait until we hear back.
Okay. Okay, item number 4 is discuss, consider, take action to authorize county judge to sign a 60-month lease agreement. We don't have anybody. Nancy, call IT. The question I had on that, because we talked about that in budget, was does that one scan and can it be used to scan information into our software? If they can answer that. Okay, let's go ahead and go on to number 5, which is discuss, consider, take action to require city of electors to submit quarterly or annual reports to Wichita County on trust properties. Mr. Boland's here with us today, an electricity administrator. Steve, is there anything you want to tell us about this? What, you know?
Grab that mic. We can hear you, but the people watching can't.
Good morning, Judge and the Commissioners. The reason I'm here today is to, as y'all will notice in the packet, the City of Electra has entered into an agreement with the Texas Community Groups, which is a organization that is part of Brandon Fielder Mott. Is what their job is they take, we identify all the properties, first of all, that are part of the trust. They have established a marketing concept to work with these properties to get the structures removed if they're, you know, to the point where we need to demo those, and then they will market these and try to sell them and get them back on the tax roll. The interlocal agreement that we've asked for is asking for all funds up to the amount of $2,500 remain with the City of Electra to pay for the cost of the demolition and maintenance of the mowing and regards to that kind of stuff. I believe the interlocal agreement does make a statement that we will provide reports to y'all on these properties, and that's why it's on the agenda today.
Yeah. Is there any problem with providing a quarterly report, or is it better for what's?
It doesn't really matter to us. Actually, the Texas Community Groups will be generating these reports and sending them to y'all. So however y'all would prefer to have them.
Any feeling of the court?
I think quarterly would be better.
Yes. That's what I would hope. If it goes too long, then you don't have.
We don't know how to sign out of mind also.
Yeah. Any other questions for Mr. Bowler? Do appreciate your time coming here with us today.
Thank you.
Okay. Could I ask for a motion then to approve the agreement?
So moved.
With submittal of quarterly reports?
Second.
Barry, I'll let you have that.
You gonna let me have that one, Mark? All right.
He was on my goodie there.
And here's George.
Makes a difference.
Okay. All in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried 5-0. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, Mr. Bowles.
Thanks, Steve.
Mr. Crutchfield. Come grab the mic. And we had that item on the copier. Oddly enough, it was funny. Is this a result of my sending you an email, or had that already been in the plan? Because after we had Judge Baker and the constable talk about the copier out there wasn't working exactly right, and they didn't know if it would scan or not. So will the replacement be able to work with our software and scan into it?
Well, it'll do scan to email, whether or not it'll be able to scan directly into what we're currently using with LGS. I'm not so sure of that. But this was already in the works.
Okay.
The unit that's out there now is about 7 years old, well past its original 60-month lease.
Yeah.
And it was set up originally as just a copier. So this one is going to do copy, fax, scan, print from the network.
That's what they need.
Yeah.
Do we have to have another, do we have to have an Electra line in order to fax on this machine
There's an existing phone line out there.
that we're gonna keep?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's something about the fax has to have that analog line. I don't know why they haven't overcome that yet.
But weren't we going to an online version of this fax that handles this?
There's some fax server software out there that we keep kicking around. We haven't gotten there yet, but the units these days, the fax card is to come in. It is a negligible cost. Big words. Sorry.
Good try.
He did good though.
George,
Yeah.
this printer is in one of the two rooms, either the storm room or the early voting room?
I believe it's going to be the room they use for early voting where the current one is.
Okay.
It'll just replace that unit.
So everybody can get to it all the time?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Judge, I'd make a motion that we move forward with this printer.
Okay, thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Motion by Commissioner Watts, second by Commissioner Harvey to approve the item as stated.
Thank you, George.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Okay, thank you, George. Item number 6, discuss and consider take action to accept Gonzalez Construction quote dated July 20th, 2017, in the amount of $1,500 for an 8-foot by 10-foot, 1-foot thick brick wall for Sprague Evidence Room Storage Room project with payment from the Permanent Improvement Fund. Commissioner Harvey?
We got, 2 other quotes, 3,800 and 3,200, and then Garland come up with, this guy, is gonna do the exact same thing the other ones were gonna do, he's just gonna do it for a lot less money. I think maybe because he had some material left off of another job, like the bricks. So I recommend that we accept this.
Okay. Is there a second?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion by Commissioner Harvey, second by Commissioner Beecham to accept the bid presented in the item. Any other comments or questions? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Does that just about finish that up? Or?
Well, as soon as we get the wall done, we've got the bid on the spray foam, we've already got all that. We're taking the, you know, I hate to say it, but we arrested a guy that's been a blessing to us. He has helped us with the classroom out there. I mean, he has done a tremendous amount of work. We're moving him over to frame out the office area, the walk-through door. We get that done. Garden still hasn't found the air conditioning on the 1033 deal. That's about 20 grand if he can't find it. So we need to wait till he finds it.
What's going to be in there that would be critical if you didn't have there? I mean, I don't know what the temperature's like in there now.
It's pretty warm and
Well,
it's
it
gonna also
sweats.
help with the, I was gonna
It
say,
sweats.
with the humidity and all that stuff.
The guns, we have some guns in
Okay.
evidence
Well-
right now that are starting to rust.
Now, let me tell you though about that, and I thought about that, I was asking Darrell, over that as well. You know what we do with those guns, don't you?
We destroy
I
them.
think Mark Brewer carries them in his trunk and shoots stuff with them.
Well, other than that,
Now, that's funny.
we throw them all in the trash.
Well,
They get crushed, don't they?
the ones that the cases are still in the courts, we don't throw in the trash.
No, we keep it and just let them
Right,
rust.
there is an occasional weapon that's not destroyed, it's converted.
It's what?
It's converted into use for the
Yeah.
agency
If it's something you,
Dog
it'll
can do that.
fit,
If it's a
yeah.
common kind, if it's worth going through the process of doing
If it's a good usable one, y'all can get it.
it.
And Garland had went to school, and he come back, and that's whenever he was like, dude, we are so out of compliance, we gotta get our arms around this, and we gotta have this, gotta have that. I mean, it's some kind of school that he went to, and the marijuana, is it marijuana?
Marijuana needs to be climate controlled.
Is that the one I was thinking about? Was it the marijuana?
It may well have been. I mean, it certainly needs.
Anyway,
it needs
all
to
of
be
this
separate.
came about with the sheriff saying that we got 11 evidence rooms, closets in this courthouse, you know. And Garland was really concerned on,
We can clear out a lot of this courthouse stuff and go out there.
it'll all go out there. He's already looking for the shelving on the 1033 program. It's just that I'm concerned about the air conditioning. It's gonna take 2 10-ton units for that size of facility.
I'm concerned over the electric bill.
Yeah, I am. That's
Well,
gonna go on forever.
I'll tell you that they are the 480, you know, package units, and they are cheaper than a window unit, you know. But once you get that thing spray foam, well insulated, I don't think it's gonna be that bad. We could just tie on to Vernon College's side of the meter if you want to. Won't be bad at all. Love you, Dusty. But anyway, that's where we're at. As soon as we get the office framed out, I believe we're gonna run some electrical plugs in there, and then we're gonna insulate it. And once the insulation's done, I really wish the holes were cut for the air conditioning before we insulate. I wish the air conditioning was in before we insulate it, but it doesn't look like that's gonna happen. We just have to re-insulate once we get the air conditioner in.
Well, Lee, what's out there that would make something come available in the next month or two? I mean, is it a time of the year thing, or, I mean, does that have any impact on
I
it?
have no clue.
I don't either.
I
Maybe
mean, Garland,
might know.
he lives on that thing.
Oh, I know.
So I couldn't.
I mean, if we're 30 days away from one, being available, well, then that'd be logical, but if you gotta wait a year, that's a whole nother,
Yeah.
that's another kettle of fish.
But I can't answer that, Commissioner. I just don't know.
Well, why not just give it an arbitrary time, say we're gonna give it 30 more days before we can find, but, I'm curious what that project has cost now, and then we're throwing another 20,000 at it.
We have hardly spent any money on that. We did a concrete ramp. It widened the door. That was $6,000 for all that concrete work. $5,000 for that. And it seems like it was $4,200 for the door. I'll have to look that up, but we're under 15,000. Period.
Is there any evidence that doesn't require climate control?
Uh-huh.
So what I'm getting at is the new building will have an evidence storage room in it. It's currently programmed. So we can complete this evidence storage without.
You said the new jail?
The new LEO office has an evidence storage room programmed currently in its space. But
Well, why are we building this?
Because that's 2 years away. And we're running out of space.
But it does make you wanna be more cautious how much money you spend on it if it's going away in 2 years.
Well, it won't go away.
Yeah.
No, Sheriff said no, they'll use it.
yeah, that's,
Ever put a store.
In the
Bill.
LEC is evidence processing, and we'll have some short term.
that's an awful large evidence processing.
I haven't seen any.
And that would depend on what we do with that other building, Judge.
Well, the sheriff said it would continue to be used. It might be something as we look at, we still don't have, we know how much money we have, but we sure have plans that are gonna push that.
Derek, he showed us that Thursday. It holds 2 cars and then it's, I don't know what the square footage was. Mark, do you remember?
No,
But
that was
it's
the processing bay, but there was also the evidence holding area.
Yeah, which was actually 2 big
adjacent to it,
areas
yes.
for that, and lockers, but the bays, there were a 2-car bay in there that let you put full vehicles in them. And
I would just say that I have continuously heard it as evidence processing, and I wish I'd have been here Thursday, but I did not feel well. It's certainly something. I'll talk with Glenda this afternoon.
I mean, this is a big room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're
Yes.
putting that side of the air conditioning into it, yeah.
It's big.
But what will be good when we finish this and we do it right and we have the other one, we will have space for the future, and, I don't think the requirements are gonna lessen themselves.
Well, I mean, when we went out there, I did not realize that we had 3 vehicles that we were storing because they were used in a murder. I said, well, how long are we gonna keep them?
well, there's one over there in the parking garage, been there 15 years.
An evidence?
And it's not air conditioned. I guarantee you. Lee, there's a door in the evidence room over there in the Lindemann building that had something to do with a murder, like a back door off of a house. So there's
How long do we have to keep that stuff?
Till all the,
appeals.
till everything's done, and
The statute of limitations runs on the offense, which never runs on a murder case.
I mean, if it's that car is actual evidence in a murder, you're gonna have it for a long time. I think it's 75 years after their death.
No, that's just ridiculous, though.
Yeah.
Can a judge order it destroyed?
I don't
Hopefully
know.
with the consent of all parties after the criminal case is fully resolved.
But you can't get it done?
Yeah, but
I mean, there's 3 vehicles over there. I said, how long we had them? He said, oh, I don't know. They've been here ever since I've been here. So
There is one in the Lindemann building, I think, in the parking garage. It's been there a long time. Got enough dirt on it to raise a garden, I think.
okay. All right. Let's
I better
move.
be quiet, we'll be wanting to air condition the parking garage.
Let's move to item number 7, which is to draw names for the 2017 Wichita County Grievance Committee. The reason I put that on there, we had talked during all this rigmarole back and forth on the policy to do away with the Grievance Committee, but we hadn't decided whether to add that to the responsibility of the Personnel Committee or do away with it, period. And my recommendation to the court today is take no action, come back next week, take action, and do away with that. The only thing I might offer that we did have, in those departments that report to the Commissioner's Court, that we look at the mechanics of handling that, because it is different. Where these other offices are independent, elected, or appointed officials, you know, I think it gives a false sense to an employee that writes that grievance up that there's something going to change, because they don't have to take the feeling of that committee. And, you know, I just think we leave them with a sense that something can change, and not necessarily will it change. And in the past, in the few we've had some change and some not. So, you know.
That's the same whether it's an elected official or the Commissioner's Court, though.
Well,
That's what I was thinking.
no, it's not. An elected official is independent. Those officers that work for the Commissioner's Court, we can redirect if we think there's something wrong there. But there's not a defined procedure to get it from somebody working in the HR office or veteran service. We have a policy that says if the 2 members of the court that supervise that office are going to dismiss the office manager, then they have a right to appeal to the whole court.
I guess my point was, though, the grievance committee is merely making a recommendation to whoever is in charge of that employee. Whether that's an elected official or whether that's the Commissioner's Court, the grievance committee is the same regardless. Their duties are the same regardless.
Right. No, I agree with
regardless
that.
of what the last effect is of the Commissioner's Court or the elected official, or whether they take that. And that gets into other liability issues. If the grievance committee recommends an action and the elected official doesn't take it, that's, you know, the elected official would have to take. But the grievance committee's purpose is the same regardless of whether it's y'all or it's an elected official.
Well, but if they don't take that, is that building a problem for us?
Yeah, of course it is.
So if we don't
That's a
have-
risk in county government.
If we,
No, you need a grievance committee, because under the EEOC, they are required to perform their alternative resolution in the county before they can file under the EEOC. It's always a step that I recommend an entity have, regardless of whether it's followed.
hadn't thought about the EOC.
Meredith,
part.
what was the committee that did the Tom Black thing? Was that the grievance committee?
No, that's
Salary
the salary
grievance.
committee. That's
It's
by
on-
state statute.
That's a statutory established only for elected officials.
There's a whole different process that applies to electeds.
Okay. Because I remember there was some, if everybody voted, then you doing it. You know, there was, they had a little bit of a hammer.
Right. But if you have a committee that has explored the full grievance when the employee's complaint, then when you do get an EEOC claim, at least you're not in the dark about what happened. You've got some sort of investigation that has occurred within the county. So it's always best to have some sort of grievance procedure in place and then go from there.
Okay, especially for the ERC thing, I follow that. Okay. Now, one of the other question is, do you want to have that as a separate committee from personnel and do that or not? And it can easily be done. We've got the names here, we're ready to draw for it.
I thought in our previous discussion, that's what we had discussed and decided on.
Was the personnel committee would do it?
Yes, sir.
That's what I thought too, but
It just, when you pass the handbook, it had been written as two separate.
Yeah.
So the policy that's in place currently is that you have a grievance committee and you have a personnel committee. If you're going to decide that you just want a personnel committee, you need to disband the grievance committee and and rewrite the policy to effectuate that. You have a pending grievance that needs to go in front of a body. I would suggest you get that one done and then rewrite the policy.
I agree with that.
So you need to draw names then.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. Y'all all right with that? But I think we do need to make the other change. Okay. The drawing is, we have to pull 2 names from department heads of 1 to 4 employees. You'll do those.
You need 2?
Yes, sir.
You draw, I'll shake.
Blame it on Jeff.
There you go. That's Commissioner Watt did that. Got 2? Got 1? Who's your first one? Lever going?
Lever going.
And Ted Gregg. These are the
You
lottery
didn't have to
winners.
be president to win either, Ted.
That's right.
Judge, in the past, I thought that the Human Resources Director was.
Yeah,
That's
because
what I
you're
was just
part of the
saying.
committee
That's what I was
already.
thinking.
Yeah.
We draw another?
Yeah.
Draw another.
Okay, one more.
Try not to mess it up this time, Jeff.
One of the things, Judge, I'm going to ask before we move forward is that the new proposed policy changed the
No,
whole
Brian.
policy somewhat. The old policy
Ain't
said
me in there.
6 plus the HR director. The new one says 7, so I'm a little confused there. So,
This is
This is
7 is
seven.
one more than 6.
what's that?
7 is one more than 6.
Judge Crutchfield,
I
George
cleared that up for
Crutchfield.
you.
That is correct.
Clear it up for you, Ted?
Well, sure.
Okay. Next one is pull 1 name from department heads 5 to 20 employees.
Here, me and Mark will do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't mess this up.
You're the man, you're the man.
Everything in there?
So you only got to pull 1 name from this one.
Okay, 1.
Yeah.
Is that Patty?
Patricia Flores.
Give me 1, Jeff. 1.
That's the only name in there. Oh, no. Where?
Charles Wolf.
Who?
Charles Wolf.
Kirk.
Oh, it is
That's
Charles
from-
K.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
And the second name, who'd you have, Waldo?
We just picked one, it was Patty Flores. There ain't nothing.
Oh, I told you there was 1, I'm sorry. That's only needed 1. We only needed 1 from there. Okay, and then 2 from the employees only in that case.
Okay. 2. That's how they draw the lottery on Saturday night, I think.
Hey, Nancy, you could put these on a little bit bigger paper with a little bit bigger letters.
Francesca Finley and Denise Cope. Francesca,
Yeah,
Francesca
Francesca.
Finley
Finley.
and Denise Pope.
Denise Cope with a
Cope.
C.
Yeah, okay.
You can't read them either, can you,
No.
Judge?
I'm farther away.
All right, you got them?
Okay.
On the same paper.
Okay. Those will be advised. Mr. Craig will give you, if you don't have all of that, I think you already have all that complaint. If not, then you need to convene that. And
Judge, just for my purposes, being back on the back room, would you please, I know it's Lee Burgoyne, Patty Flores, Kirk Wolf, Denise Cope, and Fran Finley. Is that George Crutchfield?
George
Yeah.
Crutchfield.
And George Crutchfield plus No, everyone else on there is expired on that list, Nancy, right? I'm looking at the expiration date. They're all gone, yeah.
Yeah, because you didn't draw any
Okay, all right,
in January.
okay. Okay, we're down to staff reports. Anyone, elected officials, public department heads, anybody? Okay.
I have a staff report.
Wait your turn, okay.
You have a staff report?
I do, it ain't good.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Mr. Beecham?
I have nothing.
Okay. Mr. Harvey?
We went to chip seal on Holman Road, and everything we touched fell apart. We broke our new rock box.
Yeah.
We got the primer on half the road, and then the computer and the distributor said, okay, I'm done. So we have had a mess out there on Holman Road. Parts should be in here today sometime. And poor people out there.
You're pretty popular out there.
I'm telling you right now, they are happy. They're happy. So, anyway, just been a tough last couple of days, last week, and ordering parts and training truck drivers not to ram us, and just stuff. But we have all our material and all our oil. Of course, we had to send our oil back because the distributor didn't work. So, anyway, some days you're diamond, some days you're cold.
Okay. Good enough. Did you get a chance, did you talk to the attorneys at TAC about that road bond issue? I talked to Jim Allison briefly on that. And he said
I did.
That's a pretty good tool.
I did, and as long as a individual has paid their permits to the state, the county is not allowed to add another fee to them. But if they have no permits, then the county can do that. And yes, I can let you read the statute
Yeah.
that on the transportation code that the TAC attorney sent me.
Okay. That may be, we want to be sure they have it on all their trucks, not just, part of it.
This gentleman here buys an annual permit.
For all of it.
And every vehicle has, it's called a gold seal permit.
Okay.
And that's what they did. That does not mean that that's what the individual here in Wichita County has done.
Yeah.
What's a gold permit mean?
Gold seal, they call it, the highway patrols call it a gold seal because it's a permit that's got a great big old golden seal on it. And so they just, years ago, started asking, do you have a gold seal permit? And they do. But what it is.
Is it a weight?
It is a weight and size permit, $4,000 a year paid to the state of Texas.
Per vehicle?
No.
Covers your fleet.
Yes.
But there are weight
And-
limits even with an overweight permit.
Oh, yeah.
This guy was permitted through the state for 12 foot wide and 120,000 pounds.
12 foot wide.
But he still has to
Mud
comply with,
Oh, yeah, the
With bridge laws.
time restrictions,
Yes.
yeah, all that.
But he
stuff.
doesn't have to go to TxDOT
Yeah, and get a
and
permit.
get where they tell him you'll take this road and this road and this road and this road. All of that goes away when you go and purchase a permit like that's only like $150. His permit's $4,000.
See, and there are locality restrictions because like in the Metroplex, you can't roll a big truck with a wide load till 9 o'clock. They wait till some of the traffic disperses. You can't be on the road.
No,
You can sit on the yard and wait till 9 to leave. So
No.
there's still lots of restrictions on
Yeah.
it, but
Thank you.
But anyway, a county commissioner down in another county was trying to impose a road use permit upon a person who owned a company that had drilling rigs. And they were gonna be moving, they had built the location to put the rig, and the county commissioner said, before you pull that rig in here, you gotta go buy a permit, or a bond, and the county commissioner told him that it was $100,000 a mile, and he was gonna be on it for 4 miles, so we needed a $400,000 bond. And, they reached out and said, Lee, have you ever heard anything like that? I said, nope. I called the judge. Judge said, I think I have heard of something like that, but why don't you call TAC Legal and let them explain it to you? And so I did. And she did say that, yes, there is a bond or a road use agreement, I think is what she called it. But if that person has already purchased their state permits, statute doesn't allow you to make them do
Yeah.
a local.
Which is too bad, because,
Yeah. Wranglers Retreat.
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, Commissioner Mahler?
Thanks to Tommy Smythe for handling the mailbox deal in the annex, and Tommy, looks like that's coming right along. Well, you got 4 left. If any department in the annex has not gotten their mailbox assigned, get with Tommy. He's got 4 left. It's a first come, first served deal, but that's beginning to finally come together after a long time. And Bob Hampton's got the keys for the one here in the main courthouse. So the same thing applies. If you've not gotten yours done, check with Bob, get your key and get on board. Finally making some progress there. And other than that, I would just say be careful of our road crews out in the county. They're working very hard right now, and I'm telling you, that road crew position is one of the most dangerous occupations you can have. So watch out for those guys. Slow down. They're mowing, they're patching, they're prepping, they're paving, they're doing all that right now, and the heat and everything else. So they do us a great job. We appreciate that. And just another reminder, a lot of the school activities starting up in the next week. Two-a-days, band practice and tennis practice and all that. So if you're in these school zones and around, be careful. There'll be a lot of activities here over the next 2 weeks. They'll start in stages, so drive with care if you're out and about.
Everybody always tells those kids doing 2-a-days, be real careful, hydrate, and, but you know what, that band, they're out there at the crack of dawn, and they need the same kind of support.
Well, we keep ice water.
Yeah, that band, they work hard.
That's Jerry Pruitt's job, my old part.
Is it?
He's the water guy for the
Good.
band.
That's good.
He keeps 2 big jugs up there, so, yeah, every day, every night.
Okay. Bob, Tommy, do you all have a list of who you give those keys to and which box?
I've got the list.
You've got the list,
I do.
okay.
Email Judge
Yeah.
yesterday.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, great.
I don't have the one for the main one, but I'll get one.
Rebecca Ruddy had found a
There's a
key
key.
that she thought was a mailbox key, but it could have been any mailbox key, not just one of ours. All
Yeah,
right.
after a long time, that's finally coming together, Tommy. I appreciate your help on that, so coordinating.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Okay, Commissioner Watts.
Just wanted to report the weed spraying project. I've been pleased so far from what I've seen and the amount of tall weeds that we've pared back on the areas that we've touched has appeared to me to be somewhat of a savings to us to keep from mowing. The grass has flourished well, and hopefully it'll continue to do so. And Lee, do you have the same
I had
experience?
the mayor of Cashion, Deb Carr, send me some pictures. We've been over here working, and we mowed, and then it rained about 3 times. We had Johnson grass that was over the top of her Suburban. She pulled in the driveway and stood down the street, and you could barely see her Suburban over in the Cashion area. Bobby Point, Sandy. Anyway, the day that happened, the next day, the spray people came. And so we pulled them off of what we had them on, and we sprayed all that Johnson grass. And it's been about 5 days now, and it's starting to turn. If we can ever get that Johnson grass, because if you look, the Johnson grass is for 100 feet, and then there's just Bermuda grass, and it's just about 9 inches tall. So we were really concentrating on our Johnson grass, and if we can ever get that done, we'll have a whole lot better happy constituents.
You'll have
But it
people
is starting to
raising
turn.
their cows out there on it.
Yeah, we can stake out some mules in the barn ditch, I guess. But, yes, we are getting results, is what I'm saying. We sprayed that stuff about 5 days ago, and he said, do not cut it until the stalk of that plant turns purple. He said, once it turns purple, it's dead. But they put it's kind of like crop oil.
Is that true on other big weeds like sunflower and? you have
Well,
to
it needs
kinda-
time to soak it up.
You gotta
What
kill the
is-
roots.
Like what, if you got 10-foot tall sunflowers, what is the time that it takes to travel down?
Give them a week, and it depends on the conditions, it depends on
But a
how,
week is usually
yeah,
good.
how hydrated they
But
are.
here's the deal. A stagnant plant, one that's not growing,
You
is
won't
very
kill it.
hard to kill.
We can't kill it.
A young one that's growing, you can kill the dickens out of it. But here's another thing. The droplet of water that's on the leaf of that plant needs to be, have a longest life as it can get. If you spray in the heat of the day, and you spray, and then you go back 10 minutes later, and that stuff is dry, you're not gonna get much of a kill. You wanna spray early in the morning or late at night, so that that medicine stays liquid and in moist form, it absorbs into that plant. Spraying during the day, you're wasting your money. And spraying an old stagnant sunflower that's just not growing, best thing you can do is whack it in half, and 2 or 3 weeks later, whenever it's got nice green leaves on it, that's when you kill it.
Depending on what you got in your tank.
Well, if you're gonna spray it with paraquat, you might as well just set it on fire.
Depends on what you got in your tank.
Yeah, I do believe those against it, somewhere in the Texas Penal Code, you cannot kill a sunflower before September 1st.
Oh, okay.
I can see
Yeah,
why.
exactly. You can shred them after that.
We don't need them. We got plenty of Milo. We don't need them.
Yeah.
This year, we got plenty of Milo.
There are dove sitting on the fence that are huge.
Yeah, they can't fly.
Well,
You can't even go down my road
Yeah.
fast because you'll run over them.
I've never seen that many during the heat of the summer. I mean, during the middle of the day. I mean,
We've
it's
not
just
had
incredible.
Milo as close to us as what,
Yeah.
in a long, long time.
We've got it.
You know, if them birds leave that Milo alone, them farmers might make a decent crop, more bushels per acre. Them birds are huge flying out of them fields.
Those dove leases for hunting might overcome some of that.
They're doing well.
Most of our buddies don't charge for that stuff, just go kill them, it's a bird. But their deer's a different story.
Okay. We do have other meetings this week. Tomorrow, we have a work session. It'll begin at 10 a.m. and it's the usual budgets, departments 401 through 665. And discussions on revenue, requested capital expenditure and outside agencies. Chief Metter, we were hoping Deputy Chief Choate was going to come talk to us on vehicles. This
That's tomorrow at 9.
is, no,
No, 10.
10.
Tomorrow?
Oh, Friday, I'm sorry.
Sure.
Friday's at 9.
Friday at 9.
Friday at 9, is that when he's going to come? Okay.
Then what else do we have, Judge, this week? I'm not sure I got my calendar.
Some of us, and we posted it in case we had 3 of us there on Thursday at 8:30 a.m. to attend a presentation by Dr. Ray Perryman, who is a noted Texas economist on the economy of Wichita Falls. No formal action will be taken at this event.
So we can attend that if we want to.
Yes, sir.
So that's at
8:30
MSU.
in the Dillard building.
Okay. And then Friday,
I gave Nancy some additional items we're redoing Fridays. One of the things on Fridays, is that the one, Nancy, where is that? Oh, well, let me go back. I want to be sure everybody hears this. Tuesday, August 1st, in the afternoon at 1:30, we will have 2 different briefings from insurance agencies on our health care program. The first one is from Kelly Fristow, who is an agent with Financial Partners here in Wichita Falls. And then second will be Rodney Dryden, agent with Wells Springer Agency on health insurance out of Dallas. And then on Friday, review emergency regular bills, discussion with Jack Coffey, risk control consultant with TAC, on the driving simulators for road and bridge personnel. Also, a discussion with Erica Nieto and Amy Campbell from the Texas County and District Retirement System. They're supposed to be bringing with them projections of what you have happened if you've been, most of our employees have been getting 2.0 match on retirement, what would happen if it goes to 175 or 150. And while they will not identify people, they will use our case history so somebody can look at it and say, well, I think that's probably me. What I thought we could do, and we couldn't do it, was you could go on there and play with your own individual account, but you can only project the number of years you plan to work, what it would be. So
At the current.
at the current rate, yeah.
What day is that, Judge?
That's going to be on Friday, and that's during the day. I'm not sure what time they're going to get here. We do have other budget discussions, and then the things, and also Friday will be to set elected officials' salaries. We have to give you notice. The only ones I know that are in question right now, and it's salaries and allowances on the 3 constables' salaries. And we're trying, that's the only place there's any question, and not so much salary as how, we said we're going to move away from vehicle allowance and go to a mileage reimbursement. So we can discuss that.
Friday session at 9, Judge.
Sir?
Is Friday
session's at 9.
Okay.
And then
We got Thornberry Wednesday.
the only other thing on Friday is Reserve Deputy Constable Randy also has to have a course in order to stay eligible under TCOL, continue to serve as the Reserve Deputy Constable in Precinct 3, where he's helping out Constable Blackerby. And so all he wants on that is to approve the $150 registration fee, and he has no other expenses, he said, he'd claim related to that. And it's down in Graham, Texas. It's put on by their sheriff's department. So that's the rest of the week. We do have scheduled to do budget discussions on 221 through 665, revenues, capital expenditures, and outside agencies, and discussions on health insurance and retirement plans. It's oh, okay. Let me go ahead and finish this. It's 11:08. Let's take a short recess and reconvene here in about 10 minutes and cover some of the items we have in